En una galaxia muy lejana se encuentra el alumno Esteban Cajato, próximo a hacer su blog de teatro para que el profesor Roberto no le ponga detención. Aquí vamos.
Welcome to the second vlog of the drama course. Today I'm going to talk about the character and the role of the character. First of all, what I learned from the play, from making this concept of the game of different perspectives, was that a character does not have to be on the stage to actually be a character for the play. A character can just be referred to during the play, and it still has an influence on the play and how the actions of the character are performed. So what is a character? A character is mainly a character is a person or someone that is referred to during the play, which acts on the influences of and the actions of the other characters performing on stage. An influence can be internal or external. An internal influence is the one you can see on stage. For example, the action of the push of a character to another one, and the reaction of the other character. While the external influences are such as, for example, when you refer to a character and that makes the character do an action because of that external influence. So, for example, one very good example of our play is in scene 10 when someone shouts, "Sanfagar, use your magic!" and that's a very, very well known line of the play. That line reflects that we are referring to a character that is outside the stage. It is because of our game that the audience, which is outside of the stage, they're on the auditorium, are part of the play, and they're representing a character, which is Sanfagar. This external character gives an action to the stage, the water fairies, and so there is an external influence into the stage. We never see him actually in the scene, but we do consider him a character with influences on the play. And so therefore we come back to the question of what is a character. A character is normally someone that acts on the play or on the story, but here we are having a completely different perspective about it. Let me put an analogy for it. You're gonna have let's say Jimmy and Timmy on stage, and Jimmy calls Johnny, and Johnny tells something to Jimmy, but Johnny is not on stage. So is Johnny a character, or even if he is not on stage, or is Johnny just an object or an influence? It can be both an influence or a character. It becomes a character when you mention Johnny in the play. But through looking at another perspective, what about the influences of characters that are not mentioned in the play? Are they still characters, or are they just influences? Since we do not know where does this influence come from, it can be an object or a background, a story, or the feelings of the character or the character itself. So there's more and more influences on the stage than the ones we can actually see. So the stage is just a way to represent the world, not completely, but not as a whole, but as part of the world, the part of the world you want to show, by and how the world is influenced is causing an influence into this into this part of the world. Like, you will not have the whole country, but you can have a house that is in the country, and how the country is affecting the people or the characters that are inside the house. So the theater is not does not represent something as a whole, but as a part of something influenced by the whole. In our play, we had the character, as I mentioned before, was the audience. This made another connection with the stage to the externalities, which is the audience as another character. So there is a reference to the audience as a character, which is seen. So we put an externality as an internality, if you want to put it that way. How did we treat this character? Well, we treated this character as just someone that could hear and act, but could not. We didn't hear the response, but we did make our actors react to the response of the character. So they did responded to the externalities or the influences coming from outside by putting it closer. But instead of saying from the previous analogy, Johnny was not longer on the phone or outside the stage. He was on the auditorium, and there was a closer connection between the stage, like from Jimmy and Timmy, that if he only referred to him, because we saw like how Johnny, could was responding to Jimmy. This comes to the question that what is the role of a character, or like what is the role of the main role of a character during a play? Is the role of a character to do actions, or is the role of a character to influence the play and change the course of the play? It's not. It can be actually both, but we always think of the character as someone that has characteristics and does actions to get to an objective. But we can put Johnny as not one of an objective. Johnny is only an influence to change the course of the course of the play. Therefore, you can the character can vary from wanting something to just to doing something, or to just influencing on the play. This way, this way you can play around with characters and not only center the play on actions on the character, but center the play on the influences, the externalities, and everything. And so therefore you could have a play with no characters or just influences. But if you did, there will be no one for the influences to act on. You would only have the stage. So the characters are mainly just... So the characters are on which the externalities act on, how we see the externalities. Because if there were externalities on a stage with no characters, we cannot actually see them. We see them through the characters that are on stage. So the final question would be: is the role of the character necessary for a play, or is the influences on the characters necessary for the play? Which make up the play? Is the characters or the influences acting on the characters? Because what would a character be on the stage if there were no influences? That's the end of the blog. I will see you next week on my next blog, so I don't get another detention. Thank you, goodbye.